I step into the ballroom of the Evergreen Resort and instantly regret it. Chandeliers spill crystal light across polished marble floors, and wealth lingers in quiet tones of respect. Michael's hand rests lightly at my back, steadying me with calm pressure. "Breathe," he whispers, his surgeon's eyes watching me carefully. "We belong here." Leo tugs at his bow tie, already restless at 6 years old. "Mom, this thing is choking me." I kneel, loosening the fabric with a smile. "Just for a little while, buddy. Remember our deal. Good behavior now. Swimming later." The reception. Crowd shifts and my heart freezes. A familiar profile catches my eye, the tilt of her head, the lean of her laugh. It has been 11 years, but I recognize it instantly. The bride turns, glass lifted in a toast, and our eyes lock. Grace. My sister. My hand trembles around my champagne glass, the only sign of the storm within me. I hadn't recognized the name Daniel Brooks on the invitation. I assumed Grace still used our family name Collins. Her sudden gasp slices through the noise, and silence gathers. Behind her, my mother's face pales, then flushes red. My father moves to shield Grace, standing firm as always. "What are you doing here?" Mother hisses, her voice sharp enough to draw stares. For a brief moment, shame rises in me. I am 21 again, standing in the rain with a suitcase. Michael steps forward, voice steady. "My wife is a guest. She is the CEO of Moldova. We were invited by the groom." The name travels quickly among the doctors nearby. I hear whispers, see recognition spread. "CEO." A woman in burgundy turns. That's Amber Collins. Rain soaks through. Memory as my father's words echo. "If you won't help at the clinic, don't come back." The slam of the door still rings. But now I stand in Valentino, no longer the frightened girl. I built something from nothing. I endured. Dr. Daniel Brooks steps forward, confusion clear. He looks between Grace and me. "You know the CEO of Moldova?" He asks my parents, then turns to me with interest. "We've been trying to connect with your company. Your patient system is transforming post-surgical care." Grace attempts a smile, but it falters. My parents exchange looks filled with panic. The whispers grow stronger. I could reveal everything. How they lied, how they took my tuition to fund Grace. I could expose them all. The power is mine. Instead, I simply say, "Hello, Grace. Congratulations." The words land with weight. Grace flinches as though I'd shouted. Michael's hand presses gently at my back, a question. Stay or leave. Leo tugs at my dress. "Mom, is that lady in white your friend?" Daniel studies us both. "Grace, I thought you said your sister was..." His unfinished words hang. Grace's eyes dart between him and our parents. For the first time, she struggles to respond. The easy choice would be to walk away. Let her have this day. But regret is often fear disguised, and I left fear behind long ago. Daniel beams, wrapping an arm around Grace. "And this is my wife, Grace. Stanford graduate, running her family's medical practice in Vermont." 10 feet away, I watch her smile, tightly as she greets the doctors. Her pearl earrings glint as she tilts her head, a gesture I know too well, one she uses before bending the truth. "The Collins Clinic has served our town for 30 years, she says smoothly. "We focus on family medicine and geriatrics." Michael touches my elbow, drawing me toward a nearby conversation. A silver-haired woman in an elegant suit notices my badge. Her eyes widen. "You're Amber Collins. Your summit presentation last month was excellent. Your monitoring system is changing recovery protocols in 3 states. 4 now," I answer with a smile. "We just finalized Northwestern's network." Across the room, Grace stumbles through a response about platelet therapy. A doctor frowns. Didn't Stanford move away from that approach 3 years ago? Grace's laugh rings slightly too high, the kind you hear in academic debates where some professors cling to older methods longer than others. Daniel's expression tightens subtly, his arm pulling back from her waist. He notices the shift. Amber. The familiar voice comes from behind. Me, my father. 11 years older, but still carrying the same commanding tone that once sent me to answer phones at his clinic while Grace practiced piano. You should leave, he says, stepping between me and the rest of the room. You're ruining Grace's day. Michael stiffens at my side, but I steady him with a hand. Daniel invited me, I reply, calm but firm. Perhaps you should explain why that bothers you. My father's face hardens. His expensive suit cannot disguise the reality. A small-town doctor whose authority ends at the edge of his practice. Don't act innocent. You show up here, parading whatever company you claim to run. Medova is hardly just a claim, Michael responds, stepping forward with quiet authority, the Harvard-trained surgeon. At the Boston Medical Technology Conference last month, your daughter gave the keynote speech. Her systems are already used in 27 hospitals nationwide. A guest nearby turns, clearly recognizing the company's name. Across the room, my mother hovers near Grace, nervously trying to distract Daniel's colleagues, her hands fluttering in panic. Too late. The recognition is spreading. Faces turn toward me, making connections. Leo tugs at my hand. Mom, can I have some cake now? You promised. In a minute, sweetheart. He looks past me, eyes fixed on Grace. Is that lady your sister? Does she go to Stanford like you did? My father's face drains of color. Before he can react, Leo continues innocently. You showed me your old college pictures. The red buildings were pretty. Grace has drifted closer with Daniel at her side. Her face freezes at Leo's words. Stanford? Daniel asks, looking between us. Class of 2014, I answer evenly. A distinguished cardiologist overhearing Daniel turns. You didn't mention your wife's sister was Amber Collins. Her work on predictive algorithms for post-surgical complications is groundbreaking. Northwestern Medical has cut readmissions by 22% using her system. The weight of 11 years of lies presses on Grace. She reaches for Daniel's arm, but he shifts slightly away, his attention fixed on the conversation around me. Rain once drummed against my dorm window as I stared at my empty bank statement. The college fund gone, transferred to an account I didn't recognize. That same day, Grace sent photos from Cancun, a spring break trip our family should never have been able to afford. I forced the memory aside. Now in the ballroom, Daniel pulls Grace aside. Their whispers turn heated, visible even across the room. Confusion clouds his face, shifting to disbelief, then something harsher as she clings to his sleeve. You told me you graduated from Stanford, he says, voice carrying just enough. I went there. I never once heard your name. Grace stammers. It was mostly remote learning, a special program. Stanford Medicine doesn't offer remote degrees. Daniel cuts in, his tone cold. Grace's color drains as the facade crumbles. Her eyes flick desperately toward me. But Daniel steps back, adjusts his tie, and walks away from her, directly toward me. Behind him, Grace's eyes follow like someone watching their last chance slip away. Daniel guides me gently from the crowd, his hand firm but trembling slightly. Let's find somewhere quieter, he says, steady in voice but unsettled in his eyes as they flick back toward Grace and my parents huddled in urgent conversation. We settle in a small alcove at the edge of the ballroom, 2 chairs with a table between us. The muted lighting casts sharp shadows on his face. I'm sorry for the awkwardness, he begins, adjusting his bow tie. The words falter. You didn't know Grace had a sister, I finish for him, voice neutral. Daniel's eyes widen. She mentioned a sister once, but said you dropped out after a semester, that you couldn't handle the pressure and disappeared. The old wound aches, but I don't show it. Years of negotiations taught me composure, even when bleeding inside. I graduated summa cum laude, I say steady, while working 3 jobs. 3? His brow furrows. Mornings at a cafe, evenings at a hospital reception desk, weekends at a call center. I put myself through school, part-time, with no family support. Each word lands heavily, widening the distance between truth and the story Grace told. Daniel's confusion shifts to calculation, the surgeon's mind reassessing. Stanford? He asks carefully. I shake my head. Community college first, then state university. I couldn't afford Stanford after I found out my college fund had been... I pause, choosing words carefully. Reallocated to Grace's education, the pieces settle into place. The ballroom fades around me as memories surface. Months spent on Sarah's uncomfortable couch, showering at the YWCA after Jaime's boyfriend forced me out, surviving on ramen to save for textbooks. I recall the humiliation of asking professors for extensions because triple shifts left me unable to stay awake. At the hospital where I worked reception, I met Michael. He was a resident then. I remember that night, exhausted, hunched over healthcare administration books during my dinner break. Michael stopped at my desk, curious about the diagrams I had drawn in the margins. You understand Kellerman's patient flow theory? He asked, surprised. It's flawed, I replied without looking up. The real bottleneck isn't intake documentation. He sat down and we talked until my break ended. The next day, he returned with coffee and more questions about my ideas on streamlining patient monitoring. Within months, we began developing the prototype that became Modova's foundation. Daniel leans forward. Modova. Grace said you just worked some office job. I can't stop the small smile. We started in our apartment 7 years ago. Last quarter, revenue was just under $400 million. Across the room, my parents hover near Grace. Dennis paces in small circles, face flushed with anger, while Margaret clutches Grace's arm, knuckles white. They glance at us frantically, whispering. They'll try to separate us soon, I say calmly. Daniel follows my gaze. They look uneasy. Michael approaches, phone discreetly angled as if casual, but documenting, a habit we've learned in hostile business environments. Everything all right here? He asks, his surgeon's eyes scanning me. Just catching. Up, I reply, warmth rising in my chest. He sees me for who I am, not for my family's convenient narrative. On cue, Margaret rushes over, voice pitched. Daniel, someone from Boston General is eager to meet you. Her eyes slide past me as though I don't exist. A familiar feeling. Daniel stands firm. In a moment, Margaret. Amber and I are having an important conversation. My mother's smile stiffens. Always seeking attention, Amber. She turns to nearby guests. She's always been jealous of her sister's accomplishments. The words hang in the air, sharp and suffocating. Guests shift uneasily, eyes flicking between us. I remain composed, back straight. Michael's hand rests on my shoulder, steadying me. Later, in the bathroom, Grace is already inside, mascara wand trembling in her hand. Our eyes meet in the mirror. Why are you doing this to me? She asks, voice breaking. I wash my hands, slowly. Doing what exactly? Ruining my wedding, making Daniel question everything. Tears streak her makeup. I'm not doing anything, I reply softly. I'm simply existing. She slams the mascara onto the counter. You were supposed to stay gone. For the first time, I see fear behind her anger, the collapse of a carefully built illusion. They told everyone you were a dropout, she admits, that you couldn't handle responsibility. And yet here I am, I interrupt, handling plenty. When I return, my composure is intact. Michael takes my hand. Grace emerges minutes later, makeup repaired, but something vital has broken in her eyes. The atmosphere shifts. Guests drift toward us, curious. A neurosurgeon discusses monitoring innovations with Michael. A hospital administrator presses me her card. Your post-operative system reduced our complication rates by 30%. We'd like to expand its use. Daniel listens closely, asking thoughtful questions about Madova's work. His new bride hovers, at the edges, unsettled. My father storms over, shoulders squared. Daniel, he says loudly, this is Grace's wedding. Let's focus on her accomplishments. The silence that follows is heavy, pulling everyone into stillness. Eyes move between Daniel, Dennis, and Grace, whose forced smile falters. No words are needed. Silence carries the truth. I hand my champagne flute to a passing server and glance at my watch. We've stayed long enough. Michael catches my eye across the room, his nod confirming we're aligned as always. Are we leaving now? Leo tugs my hand, hope in his eyes. Yes, buddy. Just one more thing. I retrieve a small cream-colored envelope from my clutch, a certificate for Madova stock. Not life-changing money, but a statement. Proof of who I am now, not the desperate girl they abandoned. Michael joins me, his hand steady on my back. Ready? He asks. Almost. I search for Daniel. He deserves courtesy, even today. We find him near the bar, his eyes on Grace with the first hints of doubt. My sister moves gracefully through the crowd, but I see how she flinches when medical terms arise, how quickly she redirects. We're heading out, I tell Daniel, handing him the envelope. Congratulations again. He accepts it warmly. Thank you for coming, especially considering... His eyes drift toward my parents, still circling like vultures. I appreciate the invitation, I say sincerely, and I mean it. Closing this chapter means more than I expected. Daniel leans closer, lowering his voice. I'd like to visit Madova sometime. Our eyes meet with quiet understanding, nothing spoken aloud. He doesn't know everything, but my assistant will arrange it. I hand him my business card, aware of Grace watching us, her smile breaking slightly at the edges. Mother glides over, wearing her usual social mask. Amber was always so ambitious, she tells a guest lightly. Of course, she had advantages we could never give Grace. Once, that twisted version of the truth would have hurt me. Now, it feels almost laughable. What advantages were those? Mrs. Collins? Michael asks with calm curiosity. The 3 jobs she worked while attending night school? Or the nights she slept on friends' couches after you took her tuition money? Mother's expression hardens, but Daniel's colleagues have drifted close enough to hear. She hesitates, recalculating. Leo tugs at my sleeve, confusion on his face. Aren't those people your family, Mom? His innocent question freezes the room. Simple, direct, unintentionally cutting. I kneel down. They're relatives, buddy. Family is something else. Father chooses this moment to arrive, puffing out his chest like he did when I was young and easily frightened. You can't just walk back into our lives. I have no interest in doing that. My voice is steady, final. I'm not here to expose you or make peace. I built my own life, exactly what you forced me to do when you pushed me out. The memory comes uninvited, rain soaking my jacket, suitcase in hand, the frightening freedom of having nothing left. Behind me, Leo fidgets with his bow tie. Michael places a hand on his shoulder, studying him the way he once studied me when I was breaking. Thank you, I say to my parents, leaving them stunned. Thank you for not giving me a chance. You made me create one myself. Mother's face twists between anger and composure. For once, she has no reply. I take Leo's hand. Michael walks beside us as we leave. Slow, steady, complete. No scenes, no tears, just the strength of walking away whole. Whispers follow like soft rain, but unlike that night 11 years ago, they cannot touch me. I carry an umbrella of achievement that shields me from their storms. In the lobby, Leo spins with joy. Pool time. 10 minutes to change, and I'll meet you there, Michael says, ruffling his hair. As we move toward the elevators, I catch our reflection in the polished marble, a family of 3, steady and connected. Through the ballroom doors, I glimpse Daniel watching us leave, before turning back to his new bride. New questions in his eyes. Some weddings signal beginnings. This one is an ending. The final release of expectations I never needed. Approval I no longer seek, and pain I refuse to carry forward. Leo presses the elevator button with determination. Up we go. Yes, I answer softly. Up we go. Sunlight stretches across the concrete floors of my office 1 month later. The wedding still lingers like a half-forgotten dream. On my desk lies a contract worth 8 figures from Boston Memorial. Moldovan's monitoring system cut post-surgery complications by 37%. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't take sides. My assistant's voice comes through the intercom. Dr. Daniel Brooks is here to see you. My pen stills. I haven't spoken to my sister's husband since that night. Send him in. Daniel enters carrying invisible weight. His shoulders slump, his suit wrinkled, dark circles under his eyes. Thank you for seeing me without an appointment. He remains standing, until I gesture to the chair opposite mine. Coffee? I ask. He shakes his head. I can't stay long. I wait. Silence often works better than words. Finally, he speaks. I consulted a lawyer about annulment. Everything Grace told me was false. She never went to Stanford. She never managed your parents' clinic. She was the receptionist. The lies don't surprise me. They were always there, waiting to be uncovered. I'm sorry to hear that, I reply. And I mean it. My parents made her the face of their practice. His voice falters. But their billing practices, they've been charging Medicare for procedures never performed, deliberately using outdated codes. Grace helped them do it. The truth strikes not with shock, but with confirmation of what I had long suspected. I didn't mean to drag you back into this, Daniel says quietly. When I began looking into Grace's past, I uncovered patterns and inconsistencies. Your name showed up in old clinic records, but then disappeared completely about 11 years ago. Outside my office window, the skyline shimmers in the summer heat. I built this view through my own effort, while they built their lives on falsehoods. They used my college fund for Grace, I say plainly. When I confronted them, they told me I wasn't Stanford material. Daniel flinches. The irony is that I never wanted to become a doctor. My dream was to improve medical systems, make them more efficient and reliable. You've already done that, Daniel says, glancing around the office. Moldova is transforming post-surgical care nationwide. Silence lingers between us, calm in. It's truth. The clinic is under investigation, he admits. I submitted information anonymously after uncovering the extent of their fraud. They've been doing this for nearly 15 years, starting just as you left for college. My phone buzzes with a message from Michael. Picking up Leo early. Zoo Day. Join us. Warmth spreads through me. This is my real family now. What will you do? I ask. Daniel straightens. I'll cooperate with investigators, file the necessary reports, begin again. He hesitates. I came to apologize for my role in reconnecting you with your past, and to ask, will you take part in the investigation? The question hangs heavily. I could destroy them with one call to the investigators. But finally, I say, no. I built my life apart from theirs, and I intend to keep it that way. Relief crosses his face. Thank you for seeing me. After Daniel leaves, I stand at the window, watching traffic 40 stories below. My phone vibrates with a new voicemail. Grace again. Her third this week. As I prepare to meet Michael and Leo at the zoo, he calls. You sound tired, he says. Daniel Brooks came to see me. The family clinic is under investigation for Medicare fraud. Are you okay? Yes. The honesty of the answer surprises me. Will you get involved? I watch a hawk circle above the skyscrapers, carried effortlessly by the wind. I've been thinking about what you said, that my success is already their greatest punishment. I still believe that, Michael replies, but the decision is yours. My computer chimes with an email from an attorney representing the Medicare fraud division. They want information about my time at Collins Family Practice. Attached are documents requesting my testimony. They're asking me to testify. I tell Michael, what will you do? I pause. Part of me wants to ignore it. Another part remembers the patients, elderly men and women whose Medicare benefits were stolen. I'll forward the original records from when I worked there. Nothing more, nothing less. Just the facts. I'm proud of you, Michael says. My phone buzzes again. Another voicemail from Grace. The first begged for money. The second threatened to tell Leo the truth about his mother. I don't listen to the third. I delete it. The small act feels final. Leo wants to see the new tiger cubs, Michael adds, grounding me back in my real life. Tell him I'm on my way. I pick up my bag and pause at the door. The Boston Memorial contract waits on my desk. Another hospital ready to adopt the system I built with persistence and long nights. I close the door, leaving Grace's messages behind. Some debts can never be repaid. Some wounds never fully heal. But moving forward doesn't always require forgiveness. Sometimes it just means letting go. 6 months later, I pinch back another spent bloom from the purple coneflowers in our garden. 6 months of breathing easier, like finally stepping out, of shoes that never fit. Leo runs between the raised beds, his cape fluttering. Mom, can I water the tomatoes? Start with the peppers, I say, pointing to the thirsty plants. He grabs his small watering can, careful not to spill. The mid-May sun warms my shoulders. No designer labels here. Just comfort in my own space. Michael appears at the patio door, balancing 3 glasses of lemonade. Reinforcements, he announces, stepping into the garden. The same hands that perform delicate surgeries now hand lemonade to our son with playful ceremony. Thank you, good sir, Leo replies with a wobbly bow. Michael's eyes meet mine over our son's head. No words are needed. This is what matters. This garden, this child, this life we built on truth. The Davis Hospital Board approved the patient monitoring system, Michael says casually, though we both understand its weight. The 5th major hospital to adopt Modova's technology this year alone. Thousands more patients will recover safely because of what we built. That's number 5, Leo says proudly, counting on his fingers. Mom's helping people heal faster. I smile and ruffle his hair, amazed at how much he understands. That's the goal, buddy. The doorbell rings. Michael raises an eyebrow, expecting a delivery. Probably the component samples from Switzerland. But when he returns, his face has changed. He carries a certified letter. I see the return address even from across the room. Grace Collins Brooks. My stomach tightens. The knot I thought I had let go of returns. The envelope sits on my desk for 17 minutes while I finish reviewing quarterly reports. Michael waits quietly at the door, steady as always. Finally, I open it. A single sheet of cream stationery slides out, filled with Grace's neat handwriting. Amber, the clinic closed. Last month. It wasn't because of you, but because of what Mom and Dad did. The investigation uncovered billing irregularities going back 15 years. Daniel left me. He said he couldn't stay with someone he couldn't trust. He was right. I'm not asking for money. I know better now. I only need you to know you were never the problem. I was taught to see your intelligence as a threat, your independence as a weakness for me. I believed them when they said cutting you off was necessary. I was wrong. They were wrong. And I'm sorry. Grace Michael doesn't ask what it says. He just waits as I fold the letter and put it back into the envelope. What will you do? He asks. Nothing dramatic, I reply, turning to my computer. I type for a few minutes, then print a single page. I place it in a Mednava envelope with the letter I've written. 2 weeks later, I stand at the American Medical Technology Conference in Chicago, watching my team present our latest innovations to a crowd of healthcare professionals. The Redmen Nova booth draws attention. Our reputation speaks for itself now. A glimpse of movement catches my eye. Someone in pale blue scrubs stands near the education pavilion. Grace. Her hair is tied back in a simple ponytail, listening closely to a speaker explaining entry-level medical coding certification. Our eyes meet across the busy hall. No gasps, no tension, just recognition. She holds the Mednava internship application I sent her, clutched as if it means everything. I give a small nod. Not forgiveness, but acknowledgement. She nods back, her eyes carrying determination. We don't walk toward each other. Some ties end not in reunion, but in closure. That evening, I finalized the paperwork for the Collins First Generation Medical Scholarship. It carries my birth name, not my parents', repurposed for something meaningful. 20 students without. Family support will receive full tuition and mentorship next fall. Back home, I kneel in the garden, planting new seedlings. Leo helps, patting soil around fragile roots. Some plants can't grow well beside others, I explain, showing him how to space them. They need their own space to thrive. Like people? He asks, quick to notice. Exactly, I whisper, kissing his forehead. Like people. The sun casts a golden glow across the yard. Through the kitchen window, I see Michael preparing dinner, moving easily in the space we've built together. I press another seed into the soil, covering it carefully. Some roots you inherit, others you choose.